All right, maybe we can take on every fight, but we certainly are fighting right now. And as we create more soldiers, we're also creating more veterans. Dan Caldwell joins us from Concerned Veterans for America. Dan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me on again.
So you were the first one on the show to really talk about how there are boots on the ground there right now. We talked about it a little bit at the top of the show, that, there may be special forces in Iraq, certainly. And I'll ask you this before we get into the issue of vets and how to take care of them before we create them. What do you think the best way is to defeat ISIS, and do we need boots on the ground?
Well, again, as I've said before, I think a lot of the rhetoric coming out of Washington and from not just from the president, but other politicians in Congress is dishonest. There are boots on the ground in Iraq. There's about 1,000 to 1,400 troops in Iraq, whether they're Marines, soldiers guarding the embassy, or now advisors for deploying with Iraqi units. They're there, and they're likely going to engage in direct combat. If we're going to be honest about this and have an honest discussion about it, and the objective is to truly defeat and degrade ISIS without getting into a long, drawn-out, open-ended war, then yes, we do need boots on the ground. Your guest before articulated some of the tactical issues very well about needing forward air controllers, about making sure that there aren't airstrikes against friendly forces or civilians. So, yes, I do. If we're going to be honest about this, you do need troops on the ground. You don't need a big conventional army. I think the model for this would be what we saw in the opening stages of Afghanistan with special forces and some conventional troops for deploying with like the Kurdish Peshmerga and friendly Iraqi forces. I think that would be what ultimately it would have to look like.
Dan, let's talk about recruitment. I know after 9/11 there was sort of a big rush of new recruits that wanted to join the military. What's motivating people now, and is there a recruitment lag? To my knowledge, actually, right now there's not a recruitment lag because the military is downsizing. They're actually sending people home from Afghanistan early so they can get out of the military. There's been a huge backlog, actually, of people waiting to get in the military, and that's primarily driven by the economy. Right now, a lot of people joining the military, frankly, are joining because of the depressed economy. There's still a lot of people joining because they believe in serving their country, because they believe in mission overseas, because they want the experience. But there still is a large number of people joining to get job experience, to get the follow-on educational benefits, and that is driving a lot of people to join.
What's the sense of the mission overseas from the troops' perspective? What on earth are we trying to achieve, for example, in Afghanistan?
Well, to be honest with you, right now I think that there's a lot of troops that are wondering that themselves. They're seeing us kind of starting to pull out. They're going without a clear end goal. They're going without a clear sense of why are we here. A lot of troops like myself who deployed, a lot of, especially in infantry units and combat arms units, they want to deploy. They ultimately want to go over and do their job. But there is a sense that when they get there, one, they don't trust the Afghans, they don't trust the lot of the local officials, and they don't really understand what the ultimate end game is. It hasn't been very well explained. There's a sense that we're pulling out, so why are we even here? I hear that a lot from friends that I still are in the military, that are serving over there as contractors. It's unfortunately become very pervasive among our armed forces, and I think that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, and it is one of the biggest problems, and it's one of the reasons that people are hesitant and gun-shy about this current conflict that we're embarking on. Dan Caldwell, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.